Hello everyone, my name is Lucy Agace and Sarah has very kindly allowed me to present to you this short video to highlight a new service that you can incorporate into your new fantastic service department property businesses. This will allow you to introduce sustainable practices that will help mitigate climate change and reduce your carbon footprint of your business. So Sarah McDermott, as you probably know, is very committed to the Responsible Rental Certification Programme, and she's done extremely well. All her service department properties that I have certified are over 75% compliant. In fact, some of them are only 1 or 2 short of being 100%, which is absolutely fantastic. And I will be with her as she continues her journey to improve on what she's doing. As each year I do add a few more standards because things happen around the world, new issues crop up, and we have to incorporate those as we go along the journey. So I'd just like to tell you a little bit about myself, how I came to be doing this, and how I came up with the idea of responsible rental solutions. So I came up with the idea of a rental property certification because I was already helping hotels whilst I was spending a lot of time in Barbados, and I could see that there's many rental properties that are on the beach and they have a massive effect on the local environment, not just the land but the sea. And my heart's very much set in marine conservation. I've spent many years underwater as a photographer and videographer, and I've learned a lot about coral reefs and marine life and the relationship they have with each other and how they're dependent on each other, and how basically what we do on land completely affects what happens underwater. There is an absolute connection between the two, and there are programs around the world, and one of them is called the Ridge to Reef program. And I was very lucky to be able to be involved in that while I was in Barbados, and involved in the reef restoration project there as well. But that's where my passion is, that's where my passion comes from, to try and help people on land in their businesses to have positive impacts on the local environment and the local people. And this is the way forward, especially if we are to meet the challenge of mitigating climate change and staying well below the 1.5 degree global warming figures by 2030. The Responsible Rental Solutions Certification Programme will result in you receiving green credentials, and I'm sure many of you have heard that terminology over recent years as it's becoming more incorporated across many different sectors to prove to customers that they can make an informed decision. But what sets this apart from many of the other ones and sets it above, because there's higher standards, and we actually carry out an independent third-party on-site audit. So you're not certifying yourself, which is what a lot of the other ones do. You have an on-site audit, which is carried out by me. So I visit the premises, I check that you're doing everything that you say you're doing, I collect evidence, I'll need some documentation from you, and I actually speak to your staff, as Sarah will tell you. But it's not a very lengthy process, and I don't spend a lot of time at the property, but I do collect evidence and check everything that's on the standards that you say you have complied with, that you actually have. And this will provide an invaluable addition to your business. So enough of me talking. Well, perhaps not talking, I'm going to have to carry on doing that. But I've now got a slide that will show you the 8 mandatory standards, and I'll talk over it and give you an idea of what they mean and also why they're there. Thank you. So, one of the important factors while you're running your properties is waste management. And you have to get your staff on board and also your guests. So you need to make it very easy for them to recycle. And you have to make sure that you have to find out what your local council take and what they don't take, and that's what's got to be very clear to your guests. And please provide reusable shopping bags. That also cuts down on waste and going out and buying plastic bags that get used once, maybe thrown away, because they take a lot longer to break down in the environment, and we want to avoid these things. COVID's arrived, so we've got to make sure that you prep the properties with the proper cleaning materials, and whenever possible make sure that they are not harmful to the environment. And staff shouldn't use plastic gloves, which obviously get thrown away. They need to wash their hands with soap and water, which is what we all should be doing. Reducing single-use plastic. The next one down, no single-use plastic items at all on the property. And we also want to cut down the use of travellers buying bottled water, so please provide water filters. And you may be in an area where the water is absolutely delicious. That's fantastic, but please tell your guests that it is absolutely fantastic and that they should drink it. And at the very least, maybe provide a Brita jug, so just in case for the fussy ones, they can have wonderful tasting water free of charge. You need to make sure a majority of the appliances are energy efficient, as are the light bulbs as well, and I will go around and check these. You need to make sure that you pay your cleaning staff a decent wage, and I know quite a lot of them, certainly the companies I've come across so far, do pay. They're very well paid, but it's something that will improve local living standards, and the money very much tends to stay locally, so that's a reason for doing it. And then finally, you make sure that you switch your energy provider to a green or clean provider. Gas is obviously going to be phased out in terms of boilers by 2023 for new builds. Electricity, most of the companies now providing clean green electricity, but obviously gas is impossible because it can't be clean. But they usually have offset certificates that they buy, and that constitutes, well, greenish, as green as you can get with if you supply gas. So that completes the mandatory criteria, and now I want to move back and talk about the process so that you get an idea of how it actually works. Thank you. All right, so now let's go through the certification process, so hopefully you understand exactly how it works. So we start off with a phone call. I'll phone you and I will find out about your product. How big is it? How many bedrooms do you have? Do you have a block? And I will ask you a few questions and just gather some information and talk through any queries that you might have at this point. And then I would work out if any of the standards are non-applicable to your situation. And then if we would discuss a price, and then the next step would be that if you wanted to go ahead, I would send you my terms and conditions, which has the price on it, and you send that back signed, and I'll open a Dropbox account, a shared account, where you can upload the various documents that I need for proof. Obviously this is all explained to you exactly what they are, but I'm just trying to give you an overall view of how the process works. You pay the 30% deposit. And by the way, you really don't need to remember any of this. This is all on my website. My website is very transparent. All the prices are on there. So no, you don't have to actually remember anything I'm telling you right now. So you pay your deposit, you sign the documents, and you started to upload, and you're starting to implement as many of the practices that you can. And obviously you start with the mandatory ones because you have to comply with those. And then time goes by, you can ring me whenever you want, you can send me an email, ask me for a clarification on a few points. That's absolutely no problem at all. I am here to help. We want you to be successful. Everybody wants you to be successful because the more people that get on these programs and become more sustainable, the better the world will be. So once we've decided that you will pass, we set a date for me to come out and do the audit. And on that day, you pay the remainder of the cost, which the other 70%, unless you've opted to pay on a monthly basis, in which case you would just pay whatever remains on that day. You will have passed, otherwise I wouldn't have come out. And then within a few days, I'll send you your certification or your certificate. It will be uploaded onto Dropbox. It will also go on our website, and then I will send you a logo, and that logo will also go into Dropbox, and you can download it and you can put it and share it on all your social media. Hurrah, hurrah, congratulations. And I'll put it on my social media, and that is it. It's really, really quite straightforward. The standards are very doable. You find out what they are when you've paid your deposit and signed the terms and conditions. I've been through a lot of certifications, and I've studied many programs in order to get these criteria standards. So this is why they're not on the website. And if you actually look at most certification projects, they don't quote you what their standards are, because somebody could copy them. So there are NDA clauses in the terms and conditions, and obviously you're providing me with sensitive information about your business. So it covers both of us. And it's been written by a lawyer. I've tried to remove as much jargon as possible, because otherwise you're wading through pages and pages, and it just gets terribly tedious. So I think I've got it down to about 3.5 or 4 pages now. So anyway, hopefully that's not too difficult. But I do look forward to working with as many of you as possible. I do hope you have a very, very successful course this week. I hope you enjoy staying in Nidsley. I did stay there, and it's been certified. It's passed its audit, passes 75% of the criteria, and Sarah's done very well as usual. So it just remains for me to say thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you very much to all of you for listening to me witter on about this. And if I will now put a screen up with my contact details, and please feel free to contact me at any point. I'll be happy to help you all. Take care, and thank you very much.